Hey, good morning. Scott here with Continuous Miracle Radio. So glad you're with us here this morning. It's beautiful Sunday morning here in beautiful downtown Greenville, Michigan. You are hearing a pre-recorded show today. And I've got co-host Mike in the studio here.
Hey, good morning, folks. Glad to be here, as usual.
Could you be a little more exuberant?
I am really tickled to be here, folks. We've got a great guest today. I just can't wait to get this thing rolling. I'm full of it again.
You are full of it, sir. We got Dangerous Darren on the dials with us again this morning. Thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate you being here, helping us put this thing together. And we have a special guest with us in studio today, and that would be Father Darrel.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Pewamo?
Pewamo, yep. St. Joseph.
St. Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Pewamo, St. Joseph Catholic.
Yep, Catholic Church, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
They keep me busy, or try to.
Father, the reason Father Darrel, one of the reasons Father Darrel was on with us today is I have a personal relationship with him that was established about 14 years ago. You were fresh.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, you were fresh back then, weren't you?
Yeah, you were teaching me golf.
I did. Yeah, that was part of our friendship was me teaching Father Darrel how to golf, and he had performed some service for me and my wife, who was passing of cancer at that time, and did pass from cancer. And actually, Father Darrel in his youth gave Miss Holly the last rites. Eternally grateful for that service.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity to help. You know, that's a very powerful moment.
Yep, it certainly was. Stays with me to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of how we became acquainted.
Yeah.
So sometimes through pain, friendships are forged that continue on.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
in that following summer, we played golf a few times together and had some long conversations about life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And that formed a friendship that has continued to this day. And that's not unusual for people in recovery when the hand of someone reaches out and someone grabs our hand and during an event like that in our lives, you don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
It stays with you. So I was searching my phone one day, and I thought, I wonder what Father Darrel's doing. So I dialed him up and invited him to come on the show. So that's bringing him here with us this morning. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the invitation.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about becoming a spiritual leader within your congregation. And well, I know the extensive amount of work it takes to become a priest. But what was a driving force for you?
Yeah, I would say that it began with my family. My dad being the spiritual leader in the home was very clear and evident. Scripture was always promoted by him. He was a person that came into the Catholic Church at an older age, right around the time that he married my mom, and then and just watching his example in prayer, seeing him take the faith very seriously. That relationship with the Lord was very real to him. It was not something that was superficial. You learn mighty quickly that, like, if you did something wrong, you were going to find out that there were consequences. There were, discipline was necessary, and the consequences were always fitting to what was happening, like the seriousness of what was going on. So you always felt like you were loved and spiritually led to be better, to be as best as you possibly could be, not just to put on a show of being the best, but like recognizing that you're going to make errors, you're going to make mistakes, but to learn from those mistakes, learn from those errors, and to keep growing closer to the Lord every single day. And so taking that example into ministry has been a lot of fun, and very challenging, because instead of dealing with like 6, 7, 8 people, you're dealing with hundreds.
Sure.
And they're all coming from different aspects of life, different struggles, different ways of being brought up. And so you're trying to help them to see that they can have that relationship with the Lord that's powerful and real, and that the Lord is actually working in their lives and is actually encountering them every single day. So learning to do that has been honestly something that I've learned to do over the last 14 years. You know, it's not been one of those things where I felt more like you get dropped into it, and then they say basically learn by example, learn by experience, have
Yeah.
fun.
That's kind of like
And
recovery.
And
A
laugh
lot
at,
like it.
and laugh at yourself when you make mistakes,
Oh, yeah.
right? Laugh at yourself when you just get
Rule
it wrong.
62.
Just get it wrong.
Rule 62 is Mike illuminate.
Is don't take yourself so darn seriously.
That's
Yeah.
right. You can take a situation seriously,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to take yourself so seriously because we know
Yeah.
we don't have all the answers anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, I think it's you know, you have to approach things, certain things you have to approach with a level of seriousness. But you have to be able to say to yourself, you know, you have to recognize who you really are, right? Like John the Baptist recognizes who he is when he baptizes Jesus. He's like, I don't know what you're doing, why you're making me do this. I'm not the guy.
Mhm.
You're the guy. You baptize me. And Jesus is like, no, we just have to do this for right now. And you kind of feel like John the Baptist was set up a little bit, you know, like
Yeah, he was.
what do you want me to? I don't agree with you on this. And, you know, the Lord's like, hey, don't take this so seriously. You need to do this. You need to do this because this is what I've come to do.
Just roll with it, John.
Yeah, just go with it, John. Just follow me. Just listen.
John said, okay.
Yeah, follow my lead,
Yeah.
John.
There you go.
Yeah, I can just imagine the argument that didn't make it into the scripture.
Right.
The conversation didn't make it in.
I ain't having that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, we learned a lot. But during your up with your father, and that his example kind of pointed you in a direction of Catholicism. Then after he came late to the party, or
Yeah, I think his whole point was that you need to study, you need to learn, and you need to continue to do so.
to educate.
And to grow in understanding of what is God calling me to do. You know, because obviously Scripture is not just written just to be written, but it has a purpose, a calling within it.
Sure.
And our lives encounter the Lord constantly all the time, and my father would remind us of that in the ways in which he taught us to pray, remind us in the ways of like his importance on Scripture.
So his interaction, his personal interactions, he would roll out in prayer to you guys as examples.
Yeah. So like you know, at our Sunday dinners, right? He would have us all pray. He would be there to listen to us each pray. And he never, I mean, sometimes our prayers were not the best.
Sure.
You know, as
Mine
children,
still suck some days.
But he never criticized for us for praying. He never criticized how we prayed or what we prayed for or how we prayed for it. He allowed us to learn and experience that vocal prayer with one another as a group without ever criticizing it in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just opened us up to the reality that we could just pray whenever we wanted to.
Mm-hmm. However you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However you felt called to pray in that moment, there you go.
So as you understand it.
Yeah.
It's open.
Because
That's
we're-
freedom.
Yeah, and we're always growing, right? I mean,
Well,
you
yeah,
gotta imagine,
ideally.
you got to imagine, you know, the apostles and all of them are, you know, constantly learning from Jesus when they're
Mhm.
praying. I mean, at one point they even asked him to teach them to pray, and you'd sit there going, well, they've been wandering with you for however long, and you haven't taught them how to pray yet.
No.
But the
fun.
Lord's been showing them how to pray, right? So it's kind of one of those things that, watch what I'm doing.
Isn't that interesting how people can come to whatever organized sect, religion, Catholicism was used as an example because it's what you do. But how most of these are lead by example. Once you've learned something, try and live that,
Mm-hmm.
put that in action in your life, and
Yeah.
then hopefully the son or the daughter or child of someone who you affect will see that example if you're doing it well.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll also see the example if you're not doing it so well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and hopefully learn from the bad examples as much as you learn from the good, because
Either one.
obviously we're never perfect
Right.
in what we do.
You can't try, or you can't fail if you try.
Trying is the biggest thing. Like,
Right.
to actually say, okay, I'm going to seek after what is true, what is good, what does that look like. The Lord gives us some of those answers, but He doesn't fill it in and say like, okay, here's your verbatim what you got to say.
Mm-hmm.
He allows our freedom in a way that sometimes causes that confusion and that conflict between us. But it's just like anything. He doesn't want to control us. He wants to free us.
Yeah.
To allow us to be who we are supposed to be.
To have our own experience.
Yeah. To grow in that.
To grow in that.
And to recognize the goods and the bads of that, because obviously if He just simply told us this is how you're going to do it and then we were forced to do it, we wouldn't be free.
Right. Try the apple.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that example has always been a fun one for me.
Yeah, it's a beauty.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord doesn't place it there to tempt us, but He places it there because He wants us to prove our love.
And He can.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and He's going to help us to prove our love, but we have to prove it.
That's internal and external.
Yeah.
How are you living?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
Does it
that.
match up?
I understand that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's very near.
Mike? Yes, thank you.
Your explanation of your take on Catholicism sounds a lot like AA Big Book Recovery.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Literature driven, by example. There isn't anything really wrong with if you're trying. Those sort of things. I grew up in a Catholic household and I fell away because I wasn't taught to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I was told to follow these rules, sort of like what you were talking about, which wasn't free will as such. It was following something by rote without any knowledge of what was behind it.
Right.
I have a brother and sister that are really good practicing Catholics. They got it a little differently than I did.
Mm-hmm.
But had there been a priest around to explain it in terms like you did just now, I may have, I still might be a devout follower.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like that. I had to
Have your own experience?
Yeah. I had to get to AA and find out that I wanted and needed a relationship with my higher power.
Yeah.
And by example, I was taught how to do many a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just running that stuff through my head when I was listening you talk about your father's example. I went, oh yeah, I had an example like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it made the difference.
Yeah. We all have to have that example in our life, and it's either from our parents, from someone around us, and hopefully we learn that lesson. You know, it's very easy to teach the rote lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is to say you got to make that rote lesson real to you. And in that relationship with Christ, you really have to struggle with a lot of that stuff. You have to say to yourself, okay, Lord, I understand, you know, in one part of the gospel, you're flipping tables and we're told not to be angry, yet at that very moment,
I read that part.
you seem very angry. What's going on here?
Right.
And then you realize, well, it's not just an outburst of wrath. It's from a place of real deep love of the Father, and the fact that, hey, you're distracting people from the Father. You're distracting them from God the Father, and you're making them look at everything else that God the Father doesn't want them looking at. God the Father wants them looking at Him as the person that wants to have that relationship with them, and instead you're making them focus on, okay, this oxen costs this much, this coin costs this much, this bird costs this much. You're focusing them on this, and He wants to free us from that focus and to focus on Him and the relationship we have with Him. So,
I have a much better one today.
Yeah.
Because I'm focused on the relationship, not the things by rote, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
How much is an oxen?
I don't know.
Okay. Just a question.
Never bought one.
See, now I'm curious. What is it?
Google. Darren, Google.
See, now you're focusing on the oxen.
I know. Which is a damn oxen? Because I'm curious. I asked 20 questions.
Right after he just
He
got
would
done.
he would have asked me that question,
I
but
would have.
normally that is the question he'd ask. It's the most pressing question.
It's critical.
It's pertinent, yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, you got to know that in order to answer that question.
That's right. So, see, I'm digging a little deeper here.
Yeah.
So, we're going to take a little break. Darren's telling me, oh, no, he's shaking his head feverishly. No, not yet. We're going to wait another minute. But anyway, Mike, you and me and the oxen and you and the bird? I don't know.
I was just going to look up the price of an oxen and how many birds or how many coins it costs, so I can have a good answer here pretty quick.
So you want to make sure it's first century Israel, and you want to make sure that it's accurate. So you probably want to put that in very well.
So with my artificial intelligence response, I got to let them know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is just like us. It's only as good as the question you ask it.
That is very true.
So if the answer comes up in pieces of gold,
Right.
I'll know it's the same answer as that other piece of scripture about how many pieces of gold it costs.
I think we're going to get an answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
We answered the two questions
There you
here
go.
right shortly. We're going to try that when we take a break. Come on back and join us. And thank you again to our sponsors. Hey folks, Scott here back with you on Continuous Miracle Radio with Father Darrel, our guest today, and co-host Mike in here. And as we went to break, I told you we'd be back with a price for an oxen. And we've done some investigation, or I should say AI has done some investigation for us. Full disclosure. And we've come up, well, we got shekels over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got denarii over here,
Yeah.
and then we got U.S. dollars over here today.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many shekels?
I was afraid you were going to ask me that. Multiple silver shekels.
Multiple
Yes.
silver shekels.
Several months' wages for a
Several
laborer.
months' wages for an oxen.
Mm-hmm.
How many denarii, sir?
100 denarii in 32 AD, according to what I found out. But it jives really close to what Darren said about several months' wages. But we found out that since then the price of oxen has come down to just a few days' wages.
Yeah, it's like bottom
The
floor.
price of oxen has dropped greatly since the day.
We're down to about $300 American dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the value of an oxen has greatly decreased since 32 AD.
Yeah, they used to be valuable like a tractor back then because they
Yeah.
were trained they'd break ground and such.
So this technology's taking us places and push the oxen down.
Yeah, so we got to have.
Don't be an
Oxen have lost their jobs.
They have lost their jobs. Oxen are now.
They'll be doing a protest on the corner.
Yeah, right. Well, folks, this is Continuous Miracle Radio. We do investigate things.
And we have a priest here today, so
We
you
have
know
a
we're on top of it.
We're driving this thing home. I hope you hang with us here for a minute. So, speaking of that, back to our guest. Thank you. It was his idea to find this stuff out. You gotta watch these priests; they'll send you down some rabbit holes.
Well, it's a spiritual quest.
We're trained to seek the truth in all ways. So
Right.
So
So here we are, clanging heads and punching buttons. And here, damn it, if we didn't get to the bottom of that.
yeah, we did. We got down there, figured it out.
Yes, sir. So back to your education, sir.
Yeah.
Because that's what we like to talk about in this program is continuing education.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to yours when you set your father's example and kind of drew you towards becoming a priest, right?
Yeah.
Or at least considering it.
Yeah, it's the openness with which he showed us
His
how to live.
relationship.
Yeah, the openness of that relationship really revealed just the ability for you to enter into a life of service. He was always at service to the church in any way that the church asked him to be, and so that became natural for us as a family. And then that natural example really led me to think about that. And so when I entered into seminary, which was in 2005. I entered into to study a bachelor's. I had to get a bachelor's degree, and then I had to get a major in philosophy, which basically gives you the ability to really do talk shows like this, to talk to anybody you want to, because you have the ability to kind of relate to people's experiences. Because philosophy allows you to study the things of the world and think about them in a new way, in a new light, and to hear what people are saying, and to dig down to the truth of it, of what they're saying, so that you can kind of understand what people's experiences are, and how those experiences can lead to truth. And so that was philosophy. And then major seminary, which was the graduate program, was to study theology. Graduated with a master's in divinity, and then was ordained in 2012, in the fall of 2012 in October. But yeah, the education piece, the biggest thing is the constant looking and searching, reading a lot of things over and over again from various different perspectives and things like that, as far as, people from the Middle Ages, people from the ancient world, people from the modern world. What do they all have to say about all these things, about faith, about life in general? The different experiences people had, the different kinds of phases societies have gone through, and the difficulties and struggles that happen as a result of everybody seeking the truth, and sometimes
we clank into each other quite a bit. Seeking.
Yeah.
I mean, not intentionally, but
we just find ourselves in those places where, as we're seeking, we're discovering new things that, like, I hadn't thought about it that way. I hadn't thought about it this way. And so,
a lot of that going on, right, Mike?
Well, a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff I hadn't thought about this way or that way.
Right.
So it's not static
no,
by any stretch of the imagination.
no.
Sounds active.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah, I look at it like there's certain things
Curious.
that are static, right? Like certain teachings of the church are very static, but that's because that's the bone of what we believe. And then the flesh is the part that we're constantly discovering, right? Like the meat on that bone. What is it, the sinew that keeps the body alive? So the body of the church. And it's all those different things that the church can do. There's so many different ways to serve the poor, serve those that are in need. So many different ways to speak to those who are brokenhearted, and lost their way.
Suffering from addiction.
Yeah, suffering from addiction. That's a prime example of it.
Yeah.
Like addiction in a lot of ways makes you feel that there is no way out,
Right.
but there is. But it does take that surrendering, that recognition that you're not going to be the one that gets yourself out.
Right.
In a lot of ways, that's very comparable to the struggle we all have with sin, right? Like,
Sure.
we're not going to get ourselves out.
Right.
It's going to take somebody to come down. It's going to take Jesus to come into our lives and say, okay, I'm going to show you the way out. I'm going to lead you through this. And we're going to fall down occasionally, which is what I love about the Passion of Christ, right? It's a reminder that even God himself, Christ Jesus himself, falls down 3 times. Carrying the weight of life in general. And if he does that, and he shows us by that example that you may fall down, but you can get back up, and that he's going to give you the strength to get back up. He's going to show you how to get back up. And surrendering to him is going to help you to do that in all those aspects where you struggle.
And we see that time and again, people who struggle with life and get back up and dust themselves off and do things differently. And that's gaining experience.
I like what Father Darrel said. In your comparison where we fall down, we don't get up by ourselves very easily. We need quite a hand. And it's a higher power to us, but it's usually sown through another individual. God's representative.
Yeah, somebody entering into our lives, right, and saying, hey, I'll take you by the hand, and I'll help you to lead you through it, but it's going to be tough. It's not going to be something where you're just going to walk into it and it's all going to be okay after that, but it's going to be that I'm committed, we're committed together, and we're going to move forward.
There's a lot of situations in life you're going to walk through
Oh, yeah.
that are difficult, and there's no way to get through this life without encountering your share of different situations.
Yeah. Well, I think we learn it in childhood too. You know, I mean, when you're out on the playground and stuff like that, you learn what those struggles are like. The problem is a lot of times as adults we don't remember that we never got through those struggles on our own either. But we think we did.
Right,
We think we did it on our own and say, no, you didn't. And,
I think that's
or
built
society.
into it's built into the human condition, though.
Oh, yeah.
We got through that. We need a certain amount of ego, or we need a certain amount of bravado, or we need a certain amount, whatever is required, to get us through that next thing.
Yeah.
Until we can come of age a little bit and realize that maybe we haven't been doing all this stuff all by ourselves all the time. After all,
Yeah.
you know, that moment of clarity.
Yeah, and I think that's what that's what miracles remind us of, right? Is that like that inbreaking of God into our lives, and it's not always flashy. A lot of times it's really small, and hardly noticeable. But it's those moments that happen in our lives, and we all have to have them over and over again. It's not like it's one time and done. I like to always look at it as like if God is our Father, we're children. Thinking about it from that perspective and thinking about, okay, if I'm a child, what does God see in me? Well, God sees a person who really wants to do great things and really wants to do good things, but sometimes runs off, just like a child does in our families, runs off thinking they know exactly what they're doing.
No, see you later.
Yeah, I mean, runs off and just thinks they know what they're doing, and it looks just like that. Like, you know, and God the Father is very gentle, and he doesn't just like start yelling at us for it, but like calls us back. Come here.
That's gonna hurt.
That's gonna hurt bad. Don't do it. Don't touch it. You know. Never told a kid don't touch the hot stove.
Right.
I've never seen him not reach for it.
Mm-hmm.
Our page 62 and into page 63 says pretty much the same as that about the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, good idea.
Yeah.
And if I look at it like that, I'm a lot better off.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was first shown that, I was quite rebellious and wasn't buying into that story. I had to be called, come back, as you said.
Yeah.
Many a time.
We had to be told sit down and listen to it carefully. Don't think you know it already. And I think that's the struggle we all have. Like,
You keep bringing that up to me like that. Is that
What's
why?
Me?
Yeah, it's just like that.
I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
I didn't know I was listening to you in the first place. But
Oh.
okay, never mind. I'll stop.
You start again whenever you want.
Yeah. Okay.
This is some of the fun we get to have because we don't take ourselves too seriously. We take our recovery and our situation seriously. You know,
Yeah.
so just
yeah, but
enjoy it.
you gotta recognize that, like, you had to deal with that struggle, and you're moving through it, but you don't have to get all sad about it either.
Right.
You can be okay. Yep, that experience happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh look, the sun came up.
Yeah,
Got a chance.
I get another day.
Got a
You get
chance. Yeah.
Another opportunity to live out that.
Yeah, here I am, a layman that helps people deal with these same kind of questions. That's what AA is all about.
Yeah.
Is helping a person to get to those answers that are within themselves anyway.
Right.
And at times, I almost feel overwhelmed by the whole prospect. But you said something a bit ago about doing simple things.
Yeah.
Something along that line. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
He told me it was called doing the next right thing.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's-
that might be.
I think you can call it whatever you want to call it. I don't remember which saying it was right now off the top of my head because my brain goes blank sometimes. But anyways, her whole point was just do small things.
Mm-hmm.
Do small things with great love.
Yeah.
And then do them well.
Yeah. Because you want to do it with great love. And if you do that, there's great things that'll happen.
Yeah, the body of work from where I've been, it's added up over time, but any one thing I look at, it was rather small, not huge, but I did a simple thing with love.
Mm-hmm.
My book tells me that love and tolerance is my code, my creed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Father would have me do. Whatever I do it with love and kindness.
Yeah. I mean, you have to recognize that, you know, in a large way, everybody's in the same boat.
Right.
You know, we always want to try to pretend we're not in the same boat as everybody. You know, that's what I like about the
What are
story.
you doing here?
Yeah, you know.
What are you doing in my boat?
What are
Yeah,
you doing
why-
in my boat?
Why are you messing with my boat? I want my boat. No, you're not in your own boat. We're all in the same boat. Okay.
Go on ahead into the boat.
This is a lifeboat for survivors. What are
Right.
you
Yeah,
doing here?
yeah. Well, sometimes it's like we're throwing people off the boat. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
why are we throwing them off the boat again? Because they annoy me. Okay, well, you annoy me, so we have to throw you off then? No, not me.
Not that guy.
Yeah. We're going to pick and choose who gets thrown off the boat. No, we're all in the same boat.
I've watched these TV shows where they pick that stuff out like that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're using the same criteria.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's also about competition more than anything, you know.
Oh,
when you
that
start
one.
kicking people off islands and things.
Right.
Oh. And this was about a mutual goal,
Okay.
that sort of thing, where we're at. We're talking about recovery. You might be talking more salvation, but it's a lot the same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm not living a decent life today, I'm not very well recovered. The guy that was on this show that we recorded a little bit earlier, he mentioned something out of the book about you should be known by your fruit.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. What am I doing today? What's that look like?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's a good way to test is the thing that I'm doing good. You know, like if good things are coming from it, you know, if people's lives are made better as a result of what I'm doing, then that's a good thing, you know,
So,
to be done.
so do good, be good.
I got a wristband that says that right here. Where's it at? There we go. Be good, do good.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah,
go.
and I think you have to make sure that the good is good, you know, like it's an actual
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for us to imagine that something's a good that's not. You know, like I for instance, love Mountain Dew, but I've had to give that up because it's not good. You know.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good for me, right?
No.
But
Makes my hair
but when I
stand
was
up.
younger, it was good,
Yeah.
right?
It makes my hair stand up when I start yelling at people.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No. Right. I think the yelling at people means probably I have to get rid of the Mountain Dew, right?
Right. It was
That
an
would-
indicator.
that'd be yeah. It might be a. Ooh, that doesn't really bring out the best in me.
Right. Right.
You know? And so does it bring out that good in me for others, or does it bring out the worst in me for others?
Right. I'm overachieving at being a butthole.
Yeah. I mean, you can be a real mean person and be like, oh yeah, I'm doing a good job because I'm getting stuff done. Well, you are, but you're also walking all over everybody
Right.
at the same time.
That's not. It's probably not the way a higher power to have things go.
No. But once again, you know, he is plenty happy with giving us freedom and
Oh, sure.
hoping that we can, you know, recognize that we need change. You know, and sometimes and that's the hard part is remember everybody has that moment when they have to confront that moment of change. Where are they going to go? What direction are you going to go?
Right.
You know, and
It's actually fascinating way to when you're walking through your day because everyone, like you said, whether you're in a work environment or you're in a wherever you may be placed that day, every person out there is coming from a different place,
oh yeah,
from a different background or a different
mm-hmm.
education level or whatever the case may be. And if we take the time to observe and investigate and maybe have a conversation with these individuals that time allotted for, you can make some fascinating discoveries.
Yeah.
I mean, in short order, if I'm paying attention to what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can find out what's going on, and also you can help them to put into words what they can't say.
All right. Sometimes.
You know, what's the hurt? What's the pain that you're trying to, you know, when it comes to addiction? What's the hurt and the pain that is, you know, being filled by this or trying to be filled by this?
What's your driver?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a boss here. His name is Darren. He's flashing me again because he's good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it pretty regular.
You know.
We are in a confined area, so he's okay. We're going to come right back after these messages from our sponsors, folks. Thank you all so much for being with us here today on Continuous Miracle. We'll be right back after this break. Hey folks, Scott here, back with you on Continuous Miracle Radio. So glad you're here with us again this Sunday morning, having a conversation with Father Darrel, FD I call him for short. Have since the day I met him, actually. And, it doesn't seem to bother him, so hopefully it don't bother you. Here we got co-host Mike in here with us.
I'm bothered by FD, but not really. You're too flippant.
All right, you be bothered. I'll be flippant.
Yeah,
Okay.
somebody's got to put Scott in this place.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I keep my ground for.
Somebody's got to do it.
Right.
I'm just glad it wasn't me.
Okay.
Father Darrel's wonderful at what he does, and like I said, I encountered him about 13 years ago.
Yeah,
now.
roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was associate priest over here at St. Charles at the time.
Yep.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, I was assigned here at St. Joseph, or no, sorry, St. Charles.
St.
Right, yeah, St. Charles, St. Joseph, St. Charles, Greenville, St. Joseph, St. Joseph, and St. Mary in Beldine, Miriam. So, it was quite interesting because you just basically get dropped in, and my ordination date was on the 27th of October, and on October 28th, I was assigned already and started here right away. So, it was quite the experience. You learn really fast with having a school and having multiple parishes. You meet a lot of people, and
That's fascinating, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, you do.
people from different, varying backgrounds.
Oh yeah, just all kinds of different ways of viewing life and living life, and you just kind of like you run into these people and you meet them and you talk with them and you have conversations, and you don't realize just how much you may or may not have an impact in their life in that moment, but then over time you see what happens as a result of their life as they live it out. And
Oh, look what's happening today.
Yeah.
Right now, in real time.
Yeah, in real time. The fact that Scott sent me a message, and at first I thought I barely remember Scott.
That's good.
Mostly because I hadn't seen him in quite a while. I mean, it's been a good 12 years at least. And I remember learning golf from him. I remember our conversations. I remember his great questions, wonderful questions. Honestly, I don't think I've had anyone have such challenging questions as Scott could bring up forward.
Well,
I don't feel bad
They're
then.
entertaining.
They were
Fun and
pertinent.
entertaining.
Yeah. But they were
They're
pertinent.
relevant. They're relevant. You know, it'd have been like the oxen one.
Right.
That would have been the real question.
Right. Well, you got to my attention. How much is it?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so just ministering in this area, and just also just recognizing just the need that people have for that relationship with Christ, for that relationship that they, for whatever reason, may have had at one point, but it wasn't a deep relationship. It might have been just very superficial. But hopefully over time, they've grown to understand that they need that relationship, and they come to that relationship with God. You know, and hopefully it's not through something traumatic, and sometimes it is. And sometimes I really do think that God uses those moments of tragedy to bring about His best works, right? Revealing just how much He desires us to be in a relationship with Him. That if it hadn't been for the tragedy that you experienced, I don't think I would have ever met you.
Probably not. Probably not.
You know, and that tragedy brought us together, and now we're sitting here now today. That clearly is from God. I mean, I'm claiming that from God, but you might not. But that's okay. Just because you might not.
Because I'm Scott and you're FD.
Yeah, you might not want to associate with that. You know, I don't know. For me, it's.
He always telling me this is God moment, so he's agreeing with you, but he's acting like he's not.
In my own way.
I found that was the one thing that was very good about Scott, was he would agree but not agree. It was really fun. You know,
Okay.
agree to not agree.
Kind of well-mannered.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Well, you know, you don't want to just because somebody says something that sounds good, you don't want to be like, I'm on your boat now. You know.
Remember, I didn't want him on my boat in the first place.
There we
I
go.
understand. I get it.
There's a reason for that.
But yeah, I think learning that here for the first time and seeing that desire people had, that struggle people had with who God was and why does God matter in my life? And obviously, like it's not a thing that you can fix, you can't solve. You know, you preach and proclaim and you hope that people can come to that relationship. Then I left here in 2014. Yeah, 14. Started in Rockford at Our Lady of Consolation, a parish that was bigger than this area, a bigger parish than this place here, and in Greenville. And then that was just a very different experience as well there.
Sure.
Just from the size of the parish, it was very difficult because it was, I think it was like 1,700 families, and so trying to figure out how you handle that, manage that.
Yeah, it's a big bear.
Thankfully, I wasn't the pastor. I was just an associate again. But you realize just how fast numbers can add up to the point where you can't really interrelate very well with everybody, and so you're trying to figure out, okay, where am I needed?
Yeah, where's the need?
Right, where am I needed in that moment? And it can be quite challenging to let the Lord kind of lead you in that direction. Here I did it. It was a lot easier here though because it was a much smaller community. Letting the Lord just lead me where I needed to be, and I always end up managing to find a way to find myself in a place where I'm helping people experience Him without my effort to decide how to do it.
Okay.
Basically just finding myself in those places where He needed me to be. It was more challenging in Rockford because it was so much bigger, so it was harder to do that to feel like you were accomplishing that because it's so big. But there were moments where you could see the breaking of God, in just witnessing how He was working and what He was teaching.
Yeah, you can see it in the works that's going on around you.
Yeah.
If you're tuned into that spirit.
Yeah, and
if
watching.
you're not, you walk right by it.
Oh yeah, I think I've probably walked by more than I've ever recognized, but
Probably.
hopefully I recognize more than I think. But and those are just moments where we recognize that there's somebody to help us.
Mhm.
That we're not alone, that we're not abandoned, and that we're not truly lost. We may feel those things, but He comes to us in those places and says, "I'm here."
Yeah. Yeah, the most broken place.
Yeah. So then in 2017, I went to St. Joseph St. Joseph in Pewamo. My goodness, I can't get my names right. St. Joseph in Pewamo, and smaller community, but then I was the pastor, and that was a new experience in and of itself because now that you're the pastor, you're the guy that makes decisions.
Sure.
And
You had the big hat.
Yeah, and then you realize I'm making decisions, and those decisions can impact how people perceive God, right? Based on how you make those decisions. So you have to think, okay, how is a person going to experience God if I make this decision or that decision? If I say this thing or that thing, are they going to actually experience God, or are they going to experience me and my weakness and my failure and my sinfulness, rather than experience God? Are they going to focus on the wrong thing? And so how do I make sure that you're not focusing on the wrong thing? Not bringing oxen into the church and trying to sell them stuff
Good
like
idea.
that.
Yeah. Start there.
It seems like a reasonable thing not to bring the oxen in.
Right.
Is there much of a problem in Pewamo with oxen sale?
There'd be more of a problem than if there could be more of a problem there, right? It's a more farming community, so more potential there. But thankfully, no, that wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
No, yeah, right. But you do have other things that become issues, right? Like the constant push to sell things in the back of churches and stuff like that. Okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? And so you're gonna constantly have that conversation with yourself where you're like, okay, Lord, I'm about to do this, or I'm about to make that decision, or we've been doing this.
Is it the right
If
thing?
I'm coming into church as a person that's not the priest and I'm not the pastor, and I walk in, what am I experiencing when I walk in? Am I experiencing that I'm allowed to be here? Are people coming to me and talking to me and asking me, simple questions like, "Hi, I haven't seen you before. What's your name?" Asking that name, really does personalize that relationship.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times that's the one thing that we have to do sometimes with God the Father is recognize that we need to have that same kind of encounter with Him. How do we have that? And I was admired Scott for the conversations we had about AA and what it does. And in a lot of ways, that's what I heard him often say, was that it's that experience of recognizing that you're coming into a relationship with a group, with people who are all seeking the same end, to overcome an addiction, to overcome a struggle.
Yeah, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is why you need to bring that higher power with you wherever you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you just can't do it on your own.
No, but that's some of the lessons that he's learned as well as myself.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the same things that you try and communicate to your parish attendees, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the importance of recognizing, like we were talking about before, that we're on the same boat, and I can help the people within the boat, and the way that I don't help the people in the boat is by throwing them out of the boat. So I have to resist that temptation to throw certain people out, because
we can't.
How is that gonna help them? It's not, it's not gonna help them, because now they're out in the water, potentially drowning, and what good has that done? Yeah, sure, it's gotten rid of somebody that we consider weak or whatever, but it's like, well, is that what we're called to do? When Christ is the one who goes to the weakest people, he goes and finds the poor, he goes and finds the sinner, tax collector, which is ironic, right? Tax collector is not considered a poor person, but in the society that he lived in, he was not considered a good person.
Right.
And so he was outcast. And so sometimes I think the same thing happens here. In our society, like we think about tax collectors, like, oh, we don't like a tax collector. Well, he's just doing his job.
Right. Like anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it's kind of how do you help yourself to recognize that, hey, you know what? Yeah, I might not like what this person's doing or saying, but in reality, they still have something good to offer. They have a way that they can help us all within that same boat. They're not worthless.
No, there's some good in all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, otherwise it won't exist.
Exactly right. No one's beyond redemption. There's some good in everybody.
Might be a harder road sometimes.
Yeah,
like that person can be redeemed. It's just we're gonna have to deal with a lot of the heartache that person may have caused.
Yeah. Sometimes we call that traveling the road.
Yeah.
I remember using that line about to somebody's mother 5-ish years ago that this man is worth the redemption and recovery, and he's got 4+ years clean today. I just had to remember that at that time. Remind his family that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. So crucial.
Yeah, and that's what God would have me do.
Mm-hmm.
And those could be difficult conversations. Talking with loved ones or somebody who's
Fed up with somebody's BS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of their road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, they look like people are being nasty or mean to us, but really what they're doing is they're acting out their addiction.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
And that's why the answer is always supposed to be love.
Mm-hmm.
Love and kindness.
Or at least tolerance.
That's you pointed out that was the lowest form of love. It was the tolerance.
Yeah.
That's where
Tolerance
it
is I don't care to do anything about you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the lowest form of love I know.
Yeah.
Tolerance.
I'm not throwing you out of the boat.
That's
I
right.
Get to that
Yeah,
part.
at least you're not throwing them out of the boat. Right?
There you go.
There's a positive.
There's room for everybody.
Yeah.
Except you.
Yeah, get out of the boat now. Yeah.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did, but that's okay.
Oh, well, there's a priest in the room. I'm good.
Yeah, that can't be used for everything.
Oh, damn it.
It can't be used for everything.
I was counting on it.
I've heard of that before. It doesn't quite work that way. I get it. I
All
understand where
right,
you're
I'm
coming
bringing
from.
it back. I'm bringing it back.
The other way I've heard it, though, is also, you can't say that because the priest is in the room. Like, well, what? Just because I'm out of the room, you can suddenly say stuff?
Right,
That doesn't make
I'm
no
good.
sense either.
He
That's
was
backwards.
saying it before he left. so
Right?
Yeah.
We won't worry about him when you're out of the room.
Don't
That's
worry
true.
about it.
That's true.
No, this is some of the fun we get to have today. You know.
Yeah.
And it's actually a joyful way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to do
Yeah.
good, and be useful and helpful, not hurtful or harmful.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the fruits reveal themselves along the way.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
That's why that guy said a little while ago that we shall be known by our fruits.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about that same stuff.
It's all kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my book reminds me, faith without works is dead. So what am I doing about this today?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
That's always the question.
And it always seems to be, am I helping somebody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What am I? How am I encountering the other as other? Right? Like, you're a person worthy of love because you're made.
Mm-hmm.
You exist, and
That's the only qualifier?
yeah, you exist. Therefore, you're worthy of love.
Full stop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. I've used that
you,
before.
You, as a human person, you exist. Therefore, you are worthy of love. Because that's why you're made to be loved by God. You know, you're made to be loved. You're made to love in the right proper way. You know, and the ultimate goal is that we return to that love that we came from. And
Sounds like the AA program.
kind of does sound a little bit like it.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious as to why that sounds so similar. But
Interesting
you never know.
question.
yeah, you just never know.
You never
I
know.
mean,
Probably never will. A bunch of anonymous
No.
people.
we should ask AI.
Yeah, let's do that after the show, though.
Let's not do real work. We'll just ask AI.
Yeah.
Let's not do the research ourselves.
We don't want to do any investigation on our own. We got AI for that.
None of us wants to work too hard.
That's right. Especially on a Sunday.
That's right. On a Sunday, here we are working.
Exactly.
Because I've always been told I only work on Sunday, so we're good.
That's right. I'm glad I got you on a working day.
Okay.
I've heard that out of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, why you couldn't be here in the morning.
Yes, I had masses. I had to work.
Thank you for doing something.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely.
Other than
Everybody-
coming on the radio
Everybody what?
can do something.
Okay.
I'm
There you go.
grateful
Thank
for
you
that.
for your service, Father.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Father, for being on the show, coming
bet.
over, being with us today. It's been a real treat.
Yep, absolutely. Blessings
Folks,
to you guys.
come on back and join us next week as we'll have a special guest on and probably be on here live with y'all. So until then, be well. This is Scott signing off on Continuous Miracle Radio, WGLM 106.3.